Hey, it's Damon Williams, and welcome to the Check-In. On today's episode, I have a legendary star of film, television, talk shows. He had a residency in Vegas. He is Mr. George Wallace, the funny man himself. Also on today's episode, you know him from radio and BET's Comic View and other stand-up comedy shows, Leon Rogers from iHeartRadio. He also has his own show, Later with Leon, and we'll be talking to him about all of that. Now, sit back and welcome to the Check-In.
It's so cold in Chicago, the Baskin Robbins was selling soup. It's cold. It's cold everywhere. It's so cold in New York, Statue of Liberty took that torch and put it under her dress. It's cold. It's cold everywhere. And anybody who else is in a cold place? Cold. So where you from? Detroit. Now, it's
D, what up, though?
D. Yeah. I was in Detroit yesterday. I love Detroit. First of all, thank y'all for coming out. I know what you're going through. I was in Detroit yesterday, man. I bought 12 houses. In Detroit, I bought $15, 12 houses.
Hey, Damon Williams here, and welcome to the Check-In. Today's guest, one of my favorite people on earth, man. Not just favorite comedian, but he's always there when we call him. He always comes. He's come to Martha's Vineyard. He's come to Chicago, and he does his thing. He's a legendary comedian. Y'all welcome to the Check-In, George Wallace. How you doing there, Mr. Wallace?
Good morning, Mr. Williams. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you hear me okay. I'm happy to be with you tonight. I'm sitting here watching the Masters right here in Georgia. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and Augusta's right up the road. I don't know whether you know anything about the Masters. Do you know anything about the Masters?
Yeah, I know a little bit about it. I'm not a big avid golf fan, but I get it.
Yeah. Well, I'm into golf. I used to play a little golf myself. I was just thinking today, my brother was one of the first black professional golfers. And he played with, when I was a kid, Lee Elder and Charlie Sifford and all of those guys stayed at my house. So I was just looking through the papers today where in Washington, D.C., on the headline of Washington, D.C., it said, Wallace shoots a 67 today to lead the gang at Capital City Golf Course. So I just want to say that to my older brother that died. His name was George Tater Pie Wallace. Look him up sometime. George Tater Pie Wallace, one of the first black professional golfers.
And you also have other athletes in your family, right? There's a Super Bowl ring.
Steve Wallace, 3 Super Bowl rings, played for the San Francisco 49ers. 3 Super Bowl rings. My nephew is a money tumor, played for the New York Giants. 2 Super Bowl rings. My other nephew is Bobby Hamilton, played for the New England Patriots. 2 Super Bowl rings. So I have 7 Super Bowl rings in my family. Isn't that a blessing?
That is a blessing. So are you athletic at all? I never hear you talk about yourself playing sports.
Don't you worry about me. I talk. I'm a bullshitter, okay? So I played football, Damon. I played football for 1 quarter, and I was so bad. I was such a great football player. I would run at the guy trying to tackle me. I would run at him and knock his ass over. But one day there was a guy named Coleman, Sam Coleman. He clotheslined me, and that was it. I just hung up. Nope, I never will forget that. I still feel the pain. Clotheslined me right across my neck, and my neck. That's why my head is like this all the time. So I stopped, and the coach said, Wallace, why don't you play football with us? I said, Mr. O'Neill, you know the truth. I'm a bullshitter. That's what I'm going to do. So no need me getting my neck broken out there. And I was in 11th grade then. No need me playing football. Why should I do that? I knew I wanted to be a comedian since I was 6 years old. So why get hit with like my brother Steve, all those guys can barely walk now. They can walk, but they're still in pain, professional hits.
Absolutely.
And my brother, you notice my brother had 2 helmets on his head. He got a concussion, and like I said before, that concussion was not from football. He was talking back to my mama, and she jacked his ass up.
So that leads me to a question. What other jobs have you had besides stand-up?
Well, when I got out of college, my first job was selling rags. I went to the University of Akron, and I went to New York City and moved there, and I needed to make some money. And I was reading back in the day, Damon. You may not be old enough to know this, but we would look into the newspaper. It was called the want ads. And,
yeah, I'm old enough.
It said sales and advertising, $125 to $300 a day. I said, well, let me look into this. And sure enough, I looked into it. It was a company called Cleveland Cotton Products. They sold rags, real rags from that you see at the mechanic shop. And we sold disposable cloths. So you go to restaurants and car dealerships and places, you sold real rags. And I sold a disposable cloth. And, it's called now the ShamWow.
Uh-huh.
I sold the ShamWow back in 1973.
Wow,
And
that is a wow.
I was making a lot of money selling rags, believe it or not. You'd be surprised how much money a rag salesman can make.
And that's funny. So here's a current event topic. Serena Williams, the great tennis player, is married to a white guy. And he just recently came on social media and said that she actually educated him about the usage of wash rags. Because, I think white people, and I hate to stereotype, they don't really use face towels and rags. They use loofahs or they just use the soap bar. So she says she educated him on washing with rags.
Because they probably never wrenched off, as J. Anthony Brown would say, they never wrenched off. Oh, that's amazing. I think every black person knows what a rag is, a face rag is, right?
Yeah. And if you ain't using a rag, you're not properly washing your ass. It's nothing you can use, a bar of soap or a loofah. Ain't none of that getting the job done, in my personal opinion.
When did Red Fox say you're not washing your whole ass? You're just washing around your ass.
And I'm glad you mentioned Red Fox, man, because I know you've worked with some of the greats. I actually saw you on the documentary about the Comedy Store. And that era, tell people about what comedy was like when you got in the game and just some of the obstacles probably being faced as an African-American comedian and how you really got your start.
Well, I wanted to be a comedian since 6 years old. And, the people that I liked at the time were Richard Pryor. And he was young and new at that time. But Moms Mabley, Judge Pigmeat Markham, and what's his name? Reverend Leroy, Flip Wilson, Godfrey Cambridge, anybody black at the time that came on TV when I was a kid, you run to the TV. Oh, Red Fox is on. It's on TV. Black man on. Sometimes we didn't even know. We didn't even know their name. We just said black man on television. Okay, the colored man on television. Turn it on. We called people colored man on television. So I started watching comedy, and I always wanted to be a comedian. Watching Red Fox and Red Skelton, old comedians. And I would do their jokes, Milton Berle. I would watch them on TV, and the next day I'd go back to school and I'd do their jokes, and everybody would be laughing. And so when you make people happy, you see happy people, you love what you do. So we would listen to the party records, they call them, Red Fox, Moms Mabley, your parents would go to church, and that's when you'd put the party records on. They tell you, don't touch those, don't touch those. Those are party records. And but growing up, man, as a young comedian back in the day, I'm talking back in the 50s, and we only had 3 TV stations in Georgia, ABC, CBS, and NBC. So we had to watch what was on TV, and all the comedians that came on, we just love them. And black comedians just off the chain, off the hook. We had guys named Skillet and Leroy, Wild Man Steve. Do you know some of the other older... of course, Moms Mabley and Esther.
Yeah. And Esther. It was a whole renaissance of that comics back in that era. And then we fast forward, let's say, to the 60s and 70s when you had Cosby come out, and I guess these are your contemporaries. I would say, well, you kind of really hit the national circuit in the 80s and 90s as far as exploding into cable.
Exactly, because I think Arsenio was hot like 1993. And I did Arsenio more than any other comedian. And I thank God for Arsenio today, because I think that's what gave me the numbers. And I'm the first black guy to go out to the comedy clubs and sell them out and take the door. I'm the first black guy to ever do that and take the door. So, in the 90s, I was at the Comedy Store when Richard Pryor would do his albums. And, man, I saw him go from 0 to 10 in 4 months. On that last album he did, he'd go on stage. He wouldn't do any old material, Richard Pryor. He'd just do new stuff, and everybody went, this is bad. This is bad. Paul Mooney was working with him at the time. This is bad. This is bad. And 3 weeks later, you go, well, it's a little better than it was last week. Then 2 months went by. You go, holy shit, this shit is coming together. And then in 4 months, he was shooting the show on Sunset, live on Sunset. So I've seen Richard Pryor go from 0 to 10 in 4 months, and just watching people like that, growing up with John Witherspoon. John Witherspoon is the first MC to bring me on stage at the Comedy Store. Marsha Warfield, who's out of Chicago. She was there. Brad Sanders, quite a few people from Chicago at the time when I got to the Comedy Store. But Chicago was a pretty major city for black comedy in the 90s. And you had a club there called Mary and...
Oh, yeah, all jokes aside.
All jokes aside, I played there, man. You can get in. I had like 4 shows on a Saturday night. Maybe that's where I met you. I don't know.
It is. That's how we met, because I used to be hanging around there, just open micing on Wednesdays, but I would come up to the headliner shows on the weekend because, George Wilborn is my cousin, so I had access. But I didn't want to skip over John Witherspoon. I really think the last time I saw you in person was at his service, and you spoke about him, and his funeral was off the chain, man.
His funeral was off the chain. It's like a Monday morning quarterback. Things I wished I could have done at his funeral. I have a bit, and everybody thought I was going to do it. When I make all of the preachers stand up, and we have a little church. That's the bit I should have done, because I could have killed. And but I thought I'd let the preachers go, at his funeral. But that funeral was off the hook, and the comedians were just great, from David Letterman to Ice Cube to you name it. My God, that was so good. Great man. Like David was saying, he was a model when he first came to California. And we were crazy back there. We'd ride your ass. Who the hell told you you were cute? He was so good. His jokes were, one of his greatest jokes was when he got to California was, I'm so glad I'm from Detroit. He used to stutter a little bit. I'm just happy to be out here, and broken. I got my 65 Mustang outside. Ooh, my car's about gone. I went to Firestone the other day, and I told the man I need to change my tires. And the man said, ooh, you lucky. The treads on your tires are so thin, I can see the air in your tires.
Yeah, Bill Bellamy spoke. He was hilarious. It was a bunch of notable people. He had great singers there. But it was really great to see the community come together and just kick it for John. So like you said, he was the MC back then. I know he said he used to worked at the Gucci store
in Beverly Hills. Yeah, he got up until when I first, he used to stutter a little bit. He says, when I first got out here, I was a model. And I looked at him, I said, who the hell told you you were cute? From Detroit. He wants to be a model, but he sold those Gucci shoes, man.
Wow. So he was the MC at the Comedy Store, and that was the first person to bring you on stage. So the Comedy Store was your first real comedic stand-up performance that was like in L.A.?
Not in L.A., but we really got started in New York City at Catch a Rising Star. What a great name for a club, don't you think? Right. Catch a Rising Star, still one of the greatest names ever for a club. And then they opened a club called the Comic Strip in New York City, which is still open. So that was the new club. So Seinfeld and we went over to the Comic Strip because we had access to the new club. Let me put this tag in because I got to take it back tomorrow on this hat. You see the price tag is still sticking out. And this is I sell these hats. These are my hats. So
but you got to return it.
I can't get it to go on there. But so the Comic Strip, we started in New York, and Seinfeld and I started the same month together back in 1976, and that's why we're still friends, best friends to this day.
You were his roommate for an extended period of time, right?
Well, we were roommates for 13 years. I've told the story many times. I was best man in his wedding, and I'm the father of his kids. So we've been pretty close, we've been pretty close. But comedy is the greatest thing, and we're so blessed to do what we do, even now, no matter what the times are. To be able to do comedy is the greatest blessing. We've got the best job in the world, no matter what the situation. It could be a sad situation. We bring laughter to life, and that's wonderful.
It is, and I know that I personally know it's really weird interviewing you under these circumstances because I know the answer to some of these questions. But how have you been staying safe during this whole pandemic, and what have you been doing to keep your creative juices?
Well, I just watched the news and things like that, and I love tweeting. I just got a tweet today. It says, "Why you haven't seen Trump in the White House?" And it says because it's forbidden. It was written Biden for Biden. I love looking at little things like that. I just got a tweet yesterday from a friend of mine, Billy D. Washington down in Houston, Texas. He just wrote a song called, in a gospel tune, "Trump is gone, Trump is gone, Trump is gone, Trump is gone. Only words I need for this song. Trump is gone, Trump is gone, Trump is gone." So I love getting those tweets and texts and listening to people and just trying to make jokes and just trying to live and survive. I tell you what, I haven't been in a grocery store since March. I haven't been in a drugstore. I don't go out of the house. I'm scared. I'm one of those guys that I'm quarantining. I call it incarcerated. I've been incarcerated since March. My daughter came by to visit me about a few months back. I think I told you about that. And I don't let anybody in the house. So I live on the 25th floor. So she came by and I waved at her ass and told her, keep moving. Social distancing. Keep moving. But I think I'm a little too cautious. I don't know about that. And I'm scared now with this second wave. It looks pretty bad, the second wave.
Yeah,
and I see people.
We had the chance to go back. We opened up and did limited capacity shows in Chicago this summer. Of course, we're shut back down now because our governor is real proactive. But I had a chance to, get out there and get on the mic again. I'm gonna tell you, man, when you come back out, it's gonna be so strange. Jokes that you've told 50,000 times are gonna be off. Your time is gonna be crazy, but I'm sure you're gonna have a whole bunch of new stuff to do. So that'll be your joy, doing your new jokes in front of people instead of online. I know you do a weekly feature with Sybil Wilkes from the Tom Jordan Morning Show every Thursday.
Yes, that's going really good because that enthused me to see her. She's a hardworking lady. To see her working every day. She's on not only her show, but she's doing other shows. And she's texting out every morning her news network. What's it called?
Yeah, Sybil's newsletter. Yeah,
she's fantastic, and for me to get on with her and we discuss the issues of the day is fantastic. So that keeps my new jokes coming. And what I'm gonna do also is jokes I did 40 years ago. I was looking through those jokes. I'm going, nobody heard those jokes. I'm gonna bring them back. They'll be new.
Absolutely, you should. Now, are you gonna do anything virtually online, or are you gonna wait till you come back out to the public?
I'm going to wait till I come back out to the public. I just finished a book. I don't have it with me right now. I finished a book called Bull Twit. I'm pretty heavy on tweeting, and I was voted top 25 funniest tweeters by Rolling Stone magazine. So I'm into tweeting a lot. And now I wanted to write another book called How Trump Fucked Up My Life. So, because really,
Is that working?
yes, that's going to be How Trump Fucked Up My Life. I should have written the book 3 months ago because really a lot of these deaths, 230,000 people dead. I hold him responsible for some of those deaths because he could have done something about it. As we know, he knew late January that this was happening and he did nothing about it, and he's still doing nothing about it. It's kind of like Biden is in and just wear the mask. Just think what would have happened had we just shut down 4 months ago, 5 months ago, or at the beginning, as Obama says.
J. Anthony Brown, everybody knows that you and him are really tight, and y'all like to play the Doug.
I cut him loose. We don't talk anymore. Don't like him. He doesn't like me, so I never liked him. I just, only reason I ever hung out with him was because of his mama. See, he and his mama, we used to go out together, so that's about it with his mama. And I'm already doing my Christmas shopping for her. As I told you before, I'm doing my Christmas shopping for his mama right now. And if you know Jay very well, if you want to get his mama a gift for Christmas, she loves sporting goods. And I got to bring this joke back to. She loves sporting goods. She goes to that. There's a very large sporting goods store. What's the name of it? Rick's. Is it Rick's?
No, I think it's Richards. Are we getting it close?
It's Rick's. Rick's Sporting Goods. No, Dick's. That's what it is, Dick's. She loves anything from, just mention Dick's, and she will go crazy, man. She'll you mention, oh my God, you just,
if you
Damon.
get her a box and it has Dick's.
If you get her a box and it has Dick's, or even the bag, if it has Dick's on it, she'll love you forever, because that's one thing she loves is Dick's. I just any
location,
and not just any dick, all the dick. She loves all the dicks, no matter any location. Just that's dicks. She will pull if you pull over at any 9 times out of 10, she'll be there.
Well, he has a new show on with Tyler Perry, and it's called Assisted Living. Have you seen it yet?
I watched it last night for the second time. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, Damon. I was watching the first show. I think it was the first show. He had a hook. And last night, apparently he went to the evangelist. His hand came back. He was healed. His hand is back. I don't know how that happened.
I saw the episode when he actually took the hook off. And I wonder why the hell they had that hook on. I'm going to get him on here, man, just to ask him why he had that damn hook to begin with.
You don't know yet. I guess not. Yeah. Was it supposed to be? I think he didn't like it in some way. They said, get rid of the hook. The hook didn't look good. Everybody was looking, going, why does he have the hook?
So now everybody that's watching this, you got to watch it's about the first 6 episodes. He has the hook, and then the hook is gone. So, but I like how he riffs with David Mann, and he said they get to freestyle a lot. So I fully expect, if that show sticks around, to see you pop up in a cameo. The one thing about Tyler Perry though, they do the testing and they quarantine everybody on the set, so you feel safe doing it, man.
Well, we got to commend him for what he does, not only for that show, but everything he does there, man. He's doing it really well. I worked for him a few times, and I don't know, he does it quick, man. You know, you can have a table read. You can have a table read in the morning at 7:30, and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, your ass is at home. And sometimes they do 3 shows in a day. I don't know how they do that. I can't do it that fast because I'm out of Hollywood. I'm used to reading table read on Monday morning, and you go home and they rewrite it and make it funnier, but Tyler writes it and it's done.
He's a warehouse worker. He gets it cracking. You've done a lot of films, including one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite characters I've seen you. Of course, I enjoyed you in The Wash because, you know, people don't know you do clean comedy, but you cuss with the best of them. And in The Wash, but not only The Wash, the character in A Rage in Harlem, man. Was it Grave Digger Jones was your character?
Grave Digger Jones, yes, thank you. I remember that. Yes, that was really, really, really. Who's that on the wall? It was a picture of Jesus. I know Jesus, but the lady next to it was his mama or something like that. I went, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Christ. His mama was ugly. It was Forrest Whitaker's mother. And he had a picture of his mama and Jesus. And it was like, who's that on the wall? They said, that's Jesus. He's like, I know who the hell Jesus is. I'm talking about the other fella. He said, that's his mama. And you said, Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah, you was running around chasing him with that little 38. That's a classic film. Robin Givens.
Someday Goldie.
Yes,
sir. Who was I chasing?
Forrest Whitaker.
No, Forrest Whitaker was the boy.
No, Goldie's Gregory Hines. Yeah.
You know, he had a brother. They were tap dancers. What were their names?
Gregory Hines.
Gregory Hines. That's Goldie. Someday, Goldie, I'm gonna kick your ass. Yeah. So I enjoy doing the movies and what have you.
Yeah. So you were doing a residency in Vegas. After this COVID situation, do you plan to go back to that, or what's ahead for you?
I think 2021 I'll go back. I hope they don't hear me, but I'm not ready yet, and I appreciate you young guys going out there and keeping comedy going. You're doing the clubs. Thank you guys for doing that. I'm an older guy, and I meet every pre-existing condition. I'm an older black guy. I'm 5 pounds overweight, borderline diabetic. But so I won't leave the house. I'm afraid, and So I'll go back to Las Vegas maybe 2021.
Well, good, man. It was actually groundbreaking. Weren't you the first African American to have a residency or a comedy residency in Las Vegas?
Yes, well, Red Fox was there before me, but he was like working for the hotel. But I own the show in Las Vegas. I'm the first African American to own a show, and at the Flamingo, we call it four walling, and I did that. And I went in because of my experience in advertising. That was one of my other jobs you ask about. I know how to advertise in Las Vegas, and then I was also on the Tom Joyner Morning Show and all of the TV shows, and I did a 10 o'clock show. Not too early, not too late. And went there for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And next thing you know was 10 years. I was there for 10 years. And I shut down because I thought that was long enough. Go do some new things. That's when I started doing movies again, more television. And I took a 5-year break. And then I went back to the Westgate. That's where I am right now at the Westgate. That's where you come out. And I'm so proud to have people like you to come out and work with me. And because people need to see a funny man like you. And, when you're on that stage, you pretty much killed the show. There's no reason for me to go out there. But that's what I'm different. Listen, Damon, I'm different from most entertainers, comedians, right? You can go out there and kill. Some comedians don't want you to kill in front of them. Man, you go out there and do your thing and make it hard for me. That's my job as a headliner, is to follow you guys. And you do a great job, and I appreciate you.
That's so admirable of you, and thank you for that opportunity, because when the last time I did it for you, when we landed at the airport and you added me in the billboard advertising, so I got off the plane and I was in the airport and I was on the screen and my wife was with me and I took pictures of it and Mama, I made it. I'm on the board in Vegas. So thank you for that. Also, thank you for this, man. I appreciate you taking time out your day. I know you got to get ready for your show with Sybil, but let people know your Twitter and your Instagram, anything they need to know to keep up with you. And I love you like a big brother, man. And God bless you for doing this. Tell people how to find you.
Black at you, my friend. Black at you. That's my new saying. Black at you. Black at you. You can catch me on Twitter at Mr. George Wallace. Also, you catch me on Instagram. I'm getting into Instagram, and I love TikTok. So I'm starting to get into that right now, okay? And I'm there at the real George Wallace. I'm having fun. And don't forget the book. I have a book coming out called Bull Twit and Whatnot. So that's a project that you're going to hear about in the next month or so. And I want to thank you so much for having me on. And God's going to bless you real good.
Man, well, as you always...
wait a second. With your punk ass. I forgot to say that. With your punk ass. I can't close the show without saying with your punk ass. I love you. Oh, that's why I didn't say it yet. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. With your punk ass. There you go.
We'll use that, man. Thank you, brother. Be safe.
Hey, man, thank you so much. Thank you.
Much love, George.
See ya.
Welcome to the check-in. I'm bringing to the show, man, one of my brothers. And when I say my brothers, this is one of my true brothers in the game, not just in comedy, but in life. You know him from nationally on iHeartRadio, WGCI 107.5 Chicago. He also has his own show, Later with Leon, which you can catch on Fox Soul. And we had it also locally in Chicago on Fox 32. The one and only destined legend, my brother, Leon Rogers. What's happening, bro?
What's up, man? What's going on, family?
Man, welcome to the check-in. As you can see, I'm trying to adapt and innovate in this shutdown world that we in today.
Hey, well, you doing it big. I mean, you got 3 movie recliners in your setup, and I got a random head behind me. So one of us is doing well.
No, it's all good, man. But luckily, people still get a chance to hear you do your thing, man. Because, as a stand-up, I know it's been tricky for us to just get to that audience and get that feedback. But at least you do get to vent your creative juices with the radio. How long you been doing morning show?
So I've been on this current morning show run with my good friends Kyle and Kendra G. We've been on for 6 years, but on a whole, I've been doing morning radio. Out of my 17 years of radio, I've probably been doing mornings 16 out of.
Yeah, I know you had a brief stint in the afternoons with our brother TonySchofield, correct?
Me and Tony was in the morning. I did nights with DJ Ferris over at Power 92. And I did nights with Frankie Robinson at WGCI and back to the morning. So I've been getting up like a goddamn farmer every day at 5 a.m. for like 17 years, bro. Anybody that tells you that you get used to it, they're lying. You don't get used to it. It wears and tears on your soul. Summertime it's good, your energy's up. But in the winter, man, when you got to get out and it's pitch black and it's cold and everybody in your house wrapped up in their blankets because they ain't got to be up till damn near like 8 or 9 o'clock. It's 5 a.m. I be slamming cabinets and shit on purpose just to wake them up so they can feel my pain.
Yeah, man. That's I did the mornings with Tom, but I had a feature on Tuesday, and then they eventually gave me my own spot for the whole show every Friday. And when I tell you, people ask me, how is it different, or how does it feel to not be doing the Tom Jordan Morning Show? I say, what I don't miss is that damn alarm, dude. Woo! And and the crazy part is only the first couple of years I was going into the studio. I used to have to go down to Kennedy King, and it was like, Kennedy King on 63rd and Halsted, and it's 4:30 a.m. and ain't nobody out there but me.
5 in the morning.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Me, an opportunity to be a victim. But I did it, and that's what I was doing it for free. So other than getting up early in the morning, I really appreciate how you conduct yourself on that radio show. Like, for instance, we could talk about current events, man, with the situations, just in general and not specific cases of rappers we losing in this day and age, man. Talk to me about how you feel about this violence in the rap community.
So, and I think the young brother you're talking about, King Von, FBG Duck, we just lost him too from Chicago. These are both young men that were on their way. Like, they were the next one. Duck had just signed a deal. He was about to go. King Von was signing a little Dirk. He had a lot of things going. And ironically, man, the same culture that they rapped about, it's almost like they breathed it into existence. It happens to them. And what I think is sad about it is these young guys, this is the way they're expressing themselves. This is what they go through. Like, we can't take that for granted. I used to frown on it and be like, why they rapping about this and why they rapping about that? But when that's all you know, when that's all you see, you become the reporter for that news, so to speak. And and some of them have even gotten their hands a little dirty, so they speak on it from a different level. And now you start getting this success, you start doing these things, and maybe you start pulling away from that game because you're focusing on your music. But I think what a lot of people don't understand is just because you take your ball and go home, that don't mean the game ain't still being played by other people. And some people just don't have good intentions. They don't care about that you might be about to put on for the city and about to make the city look great. But there's some things you might have done in your past or might have said in your past that there's just some people that they can't let this go. And me and activist D Nash, man, good brother, we were talking about this the other day, and I agree with him 100%. We as black men have failed a lot of these young dudes. You know what I'm saying? I can literally look in the mirror and say that because now I'm not a street guy. I've never been a street guy, but I've been around street guys. So, I've seen what can happen and whatever. But when I was growing up, I had street guys that was around me that was like, hey, Lee, we about to be on something. You need to move around because we don't want the guys we get on it with to see you hanging with us. And now you guilty by association. It's a different level. They don't do that now. They'll incorporate everybody in their BS. And just it's sad because both of those brothers were young fathers. I think King Von had 3 children. Duck had a son. And it's just sad these babies got to grow up. They're going to hear great things about the legend of their dad, in music, but their dad's not around. And that's why I really love guys like G Herbo right now, who he also comes from that life, lived that life, but he's changing now due to the influences he has around him. He's changing and he's really putting his passion into talking about PTSD and things that affect young black man in our neighborhoods. And I think that's great. And I think we need more brothers like him, more brothers like Lil Bibby, who went to go get his college degree. You know what I'm saying? To start stepping up and showing the way. And the OGs, all the guys that's out there, like my man D Nash said it best. All the guys out there, if you was getting money back in the day, you was part of that lifestyle, whether what gang you was in or whatever, and you made it through. You're still here. Whether you did your bid, near-death experience, you're still here. Man, it's your duty to go try to get some of these guys off that track, because they could look at your battle scars and wounds and realize that, hey, man, this is what's going to happen. You sure you want this? And sometimes I think these young guys just need somebody to talk to them and care. Not talk at them, talk to them. Me, I don't expect them to take it from me. I'm not a street dude. But at the same time, if they want to find out how to get on and put their music on, I'm an outlet. You know what I'm saying? Damon, I want to find out how to run this business. I want to get in contact with this. You're an outlet. So I think as black men, we need to step up a little bit more. Start grabbing these guys. I mean, out of 10, if you could save 2, you're doing better than what we've been doing. And it's just sad that we lost those 2 brothers this year.
Yeah, I mean, and there are other rappers. Pop Smoke. There's a young brother just lost his life in Dallas. I think Mo 3 is his name.
Mo, yeah. Mo
so
3, yeah.
The culture itself needs to be changed. But here's my thing about that, and it's not to contradict at all. We feel hopeless or helpless in our situation because you say you're not a street dude. We come from the same community. So I think if you and I went back in our blocks and tried to say, hey, I come from this block, I came from this area, and look at me, I'm doing my thing. These kids gonna be like, man, I don't know you, old head, get out, So it's kind of it's a tricky situation. And to be honest, some cats might be scared to go talk to them because, they might up on you and, it could be a backlash. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but I understand where the helplessness comes from.
But once again, Damon, this is just think if Martin Luther King said I was scared to go out and march. If Malcolm X said I was scared to go out and speak, it takes vanguards. Somebody has to be the vanguard. And I'm not saying that falls on you or that falls on me, but at a certain point in time, you're gonna get a feeling. For example, a prime example, bro, your son, he's a vanguard. You know what I'm saying? He on the front lines. I don't care what happens. People need to know this. Now, you as a father might be like, hey, slow down. I need you to stick around. I want some grandbabies and all this. But in his heart and passion, when he feels like, I got to speak about this, Dad, I can't let this rest. Who knows? That might inspire you to say, well, I stand with you, son. Let's do this together. You know what I'm saying? It's a trigger.
Yeah, that's happened. He got me off the couch.
Yeah.
I was I have this line about my son's out here being a revolutionary, but I do it from the crib because the revolution must be subsidized. But he actually got caught up with some. Yeah, it's the truth. He had interactions with the police, and he's more about social change and activism and such. Let's lighten it up a little bit. You're a father yourself, and Veterans Day was recently.
Yes.
Would you recommend any of your children going into the military? And I know you're a proud veteran of the Army. Talk about your military experience and how you feel about that, and if you think that is even a suggestion for some of our people out here in the streets that could be an alternative.
I'm going to say absolutely. What I absolutely get tired of hearing people shit on the military. Like, I get tired of people shitting on soldiers. Soldiers are soldiers. They do their jobs. It's the bureaucrats in the suits that make the fucked up decisions to send soldiers somewhere. Like, when it comes down from the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the guys in the business suits, the Senate and the Congress, that we're going to go to war with this country, that guy that's a PFC sitting in Lawton, Oklahoma, with the rest of his buddies who he's got a camaraderie with, who he's made friends with, they don't get to choose. You know what I'm saying? They get told, this is where you're going, right? So it angers me when people be like, oh, the white man army. Man, white man run a lot of shit that y'all doing right now. But for young males and females, if you're literally, college ain't for everybody. I tried it. It just wasn't for me. I wasn't disciplined enough to go to school. If You don't have the discipline to go to school. You don't want to get stuck in a nowhere dead end job. You don't want to be, not saying that working at a clothing store is bad, but I don't want to be 40 and still selling people Paco jeans and making, you know, $8.75 an hour. I don't. Nobody aspires for that. You don't want to get, when they say stuck in a job, you know, you stuck in McDonald's, but you never make manager status or own your own. What I'm saying is, with the military, for me, I can speak on my experience. I didn't have any discipline. I was a knucklehead, not in the bad sense. I just wasn't focused. I wouldn't finish tasks. I wouldn't do this. I'd do enough just to get by. The military, man, it taught me discipline. It opened me up to a world of people that I probably, you know, I met white boys that had never seen a black dude till they came to basic training. And I got to understand and talk to them why they the way they are. And come to find out, it was their parents. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's how they was raised up. So they never saw a black dude. Man, it was like, man, you colors are cool. I said, slow down now, hold on. You gotta stop with the color shit. We not gonna get past. But it's how they was raised. But you know, some of my good friends to this day, you know what I'm saying? Friends that I met in other states. I got to go to other countries. I saw more countries before I was 26 than some of my buddies gonna see in a lifetime. You understand? Or even some people with good jobs that have not had the experience to go live in Germany, to see France, to see Spain, to see Turkey, to see Italy. I saw all these places before I was 26, 27, before I got out the military. You know, I was in 3 passports before, you know what I'm saying, I came home. Where you get some people now brag about going to the Dominican Republic. Like, okay, that's cool. I got homies that live there, you know what I'm saying, that I could go visit. And it gives you a sense of discipline, a sense of pride. And you're making a little money, man, and you ain't spending none because you stand in the barracks. I came home with a nice little bankroll. And some of the same guys that laughed at me when I left, they was on the same block when I came back doing the same shit. So I would tell young men and women, if you've just exhausted your options, you don't want to go to trade school, you don't think school is for you right now, join the military. And you ain't got to join the Army or Marines if you're scared about going into combat, because those are basically infantry-laden units that usually fight first. Man, as the Navy, you can get on the ship. People forget about the Coast Guard. Like, they literally protect America's borders from the drug trade. That's literally what they do. And then you got the Air Force, and you can all take the skills that you learn there and apply them to a job out here in the working world.
And now we got Space Force too.
So you see what I'm saying? And it's all about passing that test. You pass that test, you pick your job. Like, it just irritates me, damn it, because I feel like we steer our young men and women away from a chance for them to make money for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so he don't want to go to college. We force kids to go to college. First of all, my daughters, if one of them came to me and said they wanted to go to the Air Force or something, I'd be like, hey, do your thing. Like, you know, they're gonna get you right. They're gonna get you disciplined. But also, I think as a parent, you have to find out what your children like and cultivate that. We don't live in an era anymore like when we grew up. Doctor, lawyer, teacher, police officer, fireman, you know, there was just a list that you had. But now with all the creatives and advancements in technology and the internet, my oldest daughter goes to school for video game concept and design. I thought that was some bullshit when she first told me. I'm like, quit, that ain't no damn class. But it is. And the people that graduate from it make big money. My middle daughter wants to be a chef. You know what I'm saying? So you have to start cultivating that. If they show you they like something, push them that way. And so many inner city kids may like certain things, but because it ain't cool or because everybody shit on it, they never tell you, I like writing poetry. I like reading literature. I would love to be in a play like Othello, but you know, everybody gonna call me lame or goofy. We have to stop that. We have to start cultivating that. Make it look cool. Make that stuff look cool the same way we make rappers and all that look cool. You know, you ain't got to be the rapper, be the engineer, be the producer. they make more money than the rappers. So, I mean, it's catch-22, but I hate when people shit on the military. My dad was a veteran, went to Vietnam 3 times, got shot up his last time there, got cancer from Agent Orange. Now, I know you may be like, well, damn, Leon, if somebody wanted to go, that's not the story you want to tell them. But my point to that is, my father died a happy man, and when I say all his homies from his unit, people that I never met because I was too little, they came to his funeral. That says something. There's a camaraderie and a brotherhood there that you can't get everywhere else. It's almost like a black college experience, but you with everybody.
So fast forward, you go from the military. How do you transition from military to stand-up?
Funny, true story. One of my last years at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, 96, right before I got out, I went to my first ever comedy show. I had never been to a comedy show before. And Michael Coyer from Chicago was performing at this club called Night Tracks on Cash Road. I'll never forget. So we sitting there watching the show, and all my buddies in my unit are like, yo, Clever, because that was my nickname, Clever. Man, you should do that, man. You funny as hell, boy. You could do that, man. You could do that. So I'm like, yeah, I could do that, you know. And as Michael Coyer was coming off stage, I was like, hey, Michael Coyer, pleasure to meet you, man. I'm gonna do comedy, man, like you when I get up out of here. So I never forget what Mike, and Mike remembers this. Like if you ask Mike, he'll tell you. He looked me in my face. He's like, you know, this when he was hot. He was that dude. He was like, well, what the fuck you telling me for? Just do it. That's all. And then he walked away. He just walked away. So I'm standing there like, but when I came home from the military, started working for the Board of Education. I was a network engineer, CSE routers. I did everything, Cisco routers, MSCSE certified. I had all of the programming licenses and everything, but it just wasn't me. It wasn't fun, Damon. And then I quit that job to start doing comedy, and me and my dad fell out because he was like, you spent all that time in the Army learning this trade, and now you want to come on talking about cracking some jokes with your dumb ass. Like, he went off on me, man. Like, it really strained our relationship because I was making a nice piece of change at the Board of Ed. Like, I was making about 62, 63 grand in 96. That was some decent money for a young guy, you know? So I quit to do comedy. But, you know, it paid off. I was happy.
I guess he did come around to support you because the first time I saw you, you had both your parents in the audience, and you looked like you were about 19. And I was astonished that you was funny, but you were cussing. And I remember roasting you about like, this dude come up here cussing in front of his parents. He looking like a little boy. But so I guess he finally came into the fold, huh?
Between you and TonySchofield, I was Calvin from the McDonald's commercials. That was the running joke. And my dad, he didn't want to be there that night. My mama made him go. My father was pissed because I remember I bombed on my last joke, and the crowd was dead silent, and all you hear out of the crowd was like, I came all the way down here for this shit. And it was my dad's voice, and I was like, Dad, and I did like this. Crowd goes crazy. And it was like, it was so defeating because my father wasn't with it. My mother was like, you'll do better the next time. My father was like, see, that's why you need to keep that job down there downtown fixing them computers. You understand what I'm saying? Because this ain't it for you right here. This ain't it. Tell him. He was telling the other comics that was on, I think it was like, Tony, he just grabbing people like, tell him, he ain't. And Tony was like, no, Mr. Rogers, he's going to be all right. He's like, no, tell him, because he'll listen to y'all. He don't listen to me. And, you know, it took him a while, but he came around when he saw that this is what I had a passion for and this is what I wanted to do. And that led into radio. So, you know, I think we gotta start with kids, man. When they find out what they like, because they'll tell you, all you gotta do is watch them. They'll show you what they like. We gotta cultivate it instead of steering them from that to do this. And their heart is not really in it. And then when they get to a certain level, they quit because that's not what they wanted to do.
Absolutely. So how did you get to radio? First of all, I know your history, but for the people out there, how how did you get to radio? But before I say that, I remember you did a special with Cedric the Entertainer. Was it Cedric? What was it called?
It was called Cedric the Entertainer Starting Lineup.
Starting Lineup.
Cedric the Entertainer Starting Lineup. It was shot at the Biloxi casinos literally 1 year after. I want to say that was 1 year after Hurricane Katrina hit and tore up everything down there. And that New Orleans area, Mississippi area, because casinos, everything got hard. We were like the first show coming back. And I got put on that via the movie Barbershop. Okay. We filmed the movie Barbershop, and we was on set joking around and stuff, and Sid was like, man, you funny. And they was like, oh, he a comedian. And he was like, you a comic? I was like, yeah. And then his manager, Eric, was like, let me get some stuff on you. I sent him some stuff. Sharon, I forgot the name of Sharon who casted the movie. Sharon King. Man, how could I forget that? Sharon King casted. She put in a word for me. And then I had a good energy on the set with Dion and everybody that was there. And he put me on the tour with him. He gave me a couple of dates on the Bud Light tour. And he said, I want to film this DVD with you, Lil Duval, JJ, Prescott, Talk. We was deep. So that Rodney Perry. So that's how I got on that. And radio, doing a show at the crib at Jokes and Notes. All jokes aside, no, I'll take that back. And Courtney Hicks saw me. And she said, man, I want you to come sit in with me on my radio show. She was doing middays at Power 92. And I said, all right, got nothing to do. I'll go on there, crack some jokes. Jay Allen say, who was that you had on the radio with you? He funny as hell. She said, you want to come back? I said, yeah. I come back. I wasn't doing nothing, scratching to get that $50, $75 a week doing the show here, show there. And after I did the second show with her, he said, man, look, I'm finna take the hot boys, Tone and Shag. I'm finna move them the nights. And I'm finna have Courtney Hicks do a morning show with Stone Pony. I need a van, man. They put me in the van. And now, mind you, prior to that, though, I was getting my feet wet by coming up and watching you. Where was that building we was at?
Down there
off the river.
Yeah, River City. We did the Doug Banks show afternoons on one. That's when 106 Jazz.
Yeah, Tony and Shaq ran the board. They were running the board, and I used to come over there and sit and watch y'all do y'all thing over there because I was interested in it, but I didn't really know what I was doing. Me and DJ Dollar Bill. I never forget that because that's why we went to Illinois School of Broadcasting.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. I know. Actually, I would even have you pop in because I knew you were funny, man. The first time I saw you, and Shag actually put a bug in Jay Allen's ear too. He's like, man, you should get Leon because he's come up here. He's hilarious. And I was sitting right there. I'm like,
like Nick.
No, but it's so funny. Radio is such a funny job because I'm sure at some point your shift ended or you lost the job. Because I know they never tell you that, whatever's going on with radio, that's your last day until after your last day. Because I know my last day at that job at 106, Jay Allen, to this day, shouts out to Jay. He's the person I say, you're the only person that I know in life that can say you fired me. Because I only had 2 jobs besides comedy and I quit both of them. But he came to me after, and this one I used to do the little...
That's some ball of shit right there, bro. That's some ball of shit right there. Ain't nobody ever fired me. Well, I've been fired several times.
I'm just
my
wife,
my wife fired me once. My wife fired me twice. She fired me twice. I reapplied.
I know.
Background checks.
But it was crazy. So this is how they do your radio. And I just want to know if you ever had this experience. So after that Friday, part of my deal was I could talk about all the shows I have coming up, whatever. So I had a show at the Park West that weekend. So I'm telling people, man, when we come back Monday, if you ain't go to the show, I'll tell you all about it, but you don't want to miss it, blah, blah, blah. So I come off the air and Jay called me in the office. He's like, man, it's not a good day, man. Like, what? He said, that was your last performance. I mean, your last air shift. I'm like, what happened? So we knew the station was being sold. We had about 2 or 3 weeks left, but they won't let you sign off. So have you ever been fired from a radio show? And how did that go, if so?
Well, so I don't want to call what happened with me at Power getting fired. So I was on the morning show. They disbanded the morning show, me and Courtney Hicks. They let go of Courtney, and they moved me to nights with Ferris. Now I kept my salary from the morning show. Shout out to Ferris. Listen, next to the Bad Boy, the Bad Boys, Mike Love and the Diz, to me is one of the coolest show ever nighttime in Chicago. But Hood Radio with DJ Ferris and Leon Rogers was number 2. We rivaled. We was off the chain. And I kept my same salary or whatever. But when it came time to re-up, they was like, yo, we need you to take a pay cut. And I said, well, okay, how much? You know, they say 5, 6 grand. I'm cool. But it was like 20. I said, we're not. Dude, y'all done let a brother feel rayon boxes. I'm not going back to cotton. It's rayon from here on out. I mean, I was buying the polo boxes that had the rayon material that felt good, felt like swim trunks. I wasn't going back to the 3-pack of cotton no more. Nope. With the little ding-a-ling flap in the front. No, these were smooth, felt like skin. So they said, Taft Harris, I never forget Taft. Taft said, man, Leon, we can't afford to pay you that. I said, well, okay. So I would say it was like a mutual parting between us. It wasn't no bad blood. I don't think I got fired. It didn't work out numbers wise. But Elroy Smith reached out to me maybe like a week later, said, I want to talk to you. And he put a bug in my ear. Time went fast. Then September 11th, 2006, he brought me in for an audition, which I was pissed because I was like, why would you bring a comedian in on the anniversary of one of the worst tragedy in American soil next to Pearl Harbor? What am I going to talk about? So I'm mad the whole audition. But when I got finished, I stormed back to Elroy office because I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. Like, bro, you set me up for failure. He was like, I know you funny. I want to see, could you adapt? And he said, so now you going to keep complaining or you going to sign this contract? And it slid me my contract September 11, 2006, and I've been a gainful employee of iHeartMedia since then to this day. So, like I tell people, my story is different. When I go speak at high schools and stuff, my story is different, but it's still a story of determination. I have no college degree. You know what I'm saying? I have no degree in radio. I just went in, learned the system, took little stuff here and there to make myself I know there were comics that might be funnier than me on the air, but you weren't going to be able to run a board better than me. You're not going to be able to run Vox Pro better than me. You're not going to be able to edit this or do this or hit a break better than me. So it's more than just being funny. And of course, you know that, Damon. Timing is everything. Confidence of what you're saying. Being able to walk the line and not cross it, because you know, one call from a listener equals 10,000 people feel the same way. So, you know, and then after reading Howard Stern's book, like, you either need to be great or absolutely fucking hate it. Don't be in the middle. Because if you're average, anybody's average. He said, but if they love tuning in to you every day, you're good. And if they hate you so much, they calling that son of a bitch, I can't stand them, they're sneaky.
Facts.
Nobody listens to in between. It's like, why should I?
A comedian, you're a talk show host, your show Later with Leon, but you also DJ. How did that come about?
Once again, man, 6 degrees of separation. Like, this is why you the Godfather, because you like put people together and you don't even realize how you done put us all together. So TNT Comedy Hook, of course, Sunday nights, bananas. One of the hottest rooms ever where I cut my teeth. D-Ray, other greats, Deion Cole, everybody's been through that. But I still got the picture framed on my wall with when Bernie Mac just popped up. I was like, I'm working on the set. and you turned to us and said, "Hey, y'all, Bernie said he want to go up first." The fuck? What? No, David. He should go last. You finna let Bernie Mac go first before all of us? David was like, "Yep, I ain't got to pay him. He going up, and he can do as much time as he want." So we thinking we gonna bomb like it's Bernie Mac. Remember that night?
Yeah, of course.
I know you do, bro. That was an amazing night. So rest in peace to Bernie Mac. But anyway, you had a DJ there by the name of DJ Dollar Bill. Bad man. Like, to me, the coldest comedy DJ ever. Timing. He remembered comics joke that needed music. Like, I had one, Lord of Drawbridge G. That was me and his thing. And it was magic when we did it. It's a joke I only do here in the city. It's only for my guys and girls in the city. And I only do that joke with Dollar Bill because anybody else is going to fuck it up. Watching Dollar Bill, I was just amazed at him. I was always a hip-hop head like him. And Dollar Bill came over my crib one day and he seen my crates of records. He's like, "What you got all these damn records for?" I said, "Well, in the Army, all we did was listen to music. So I bought albums, I bought singles, vinyl." He said, "Why you ain't DJing?" I said, "Because I don't know how, goddammit, and I don't just jump into people's crafts. Like, I hate people to be like, oh, I'm funny, I could do comedy," and just have no respect for what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it have to have a certain amount of respect for it. So I had a certain amount of respect for what he did. He said, "Man, skip this." Gave me some turntable, gave me a mixer. I went and bought 2 turntables. He said, "Man, you gonna practice." And I just started practicing on turntables, on vinyl. And I practiced for like a year and a half before I ever went outside and did anything. And it just picked up from there, and I kept going because I didn't want to be a celebrity DJ. I didn't want to be the one where they be like, "Oh, look at dude trying to get in on our money." I wanted him to be like, yo, you better bring your A game when he play because he can play. So when I started getting co-signed by Dollar Bill, Bulu Master, Vince Adams, Jay Illa, guys like B-Man, that's what I wanted more than anything. I didn't care if the people like what I did. If your peers recognize that you're doing great things, to me, that meant more than anything in the world. And to this day, I still, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to go do 2 mixes right now for Saturday this weekend for the station. That's another thing I put in my cap at the station. I mix too, nigga. So you got to be more than funny.
And I'm telling you, and not only have you really bought into the DJ, you even have DJ demeanor. I remember one time we were at Francis Lounge, and you was in the middle of a blend, I think, and I was like, "Hey, Leon," you like, "Hey." You gave me the hold up, man. And I was with your wife. Me and your wife was trying to take a picture, like, "Hey."
We taking a picture.
Yeah. I fell back like, oh, my bad. One thing I hope you don't do, though, is that most DJs, they don't like requests. And I know, like, even Dollar Bill, it could be, you could be the bride, and it could be your reception. And he like, that ain't what people want to hear right now. I hope you take requests when somebody hires you, especially if it's their damn wedding.
Hey, man, this a repass for my father. He passed. He really loved Marvin Gaye. Hey, look, I'm in my Luke Skywalker bag right now. I'm gonna get to that. Your daddy ain't going nowhere. Where you going? Okay, he dead, right? All right. So go your ass back out there. Go in the buffet style serving. Yeah. And look, when I did that, I remember that. When I did it, I was like, damn, man, I just gave my homie the hand. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I hope
it wasn't just me, it was me and your wife. So I ain't take it personal because your wife was with me. You like, hey, yeah.
Right. Thought it too, right?
And so I know you have your show. What's happening with Later with Leon? Is it still online, or what's going on with that? And what else is happening with you?
So right now, you can still go to Fox Soul and catch some older episodes of Later with Leon. But for right now, we're on hiatus due to the whole COVID thing. They don't have everybody in studio. So we're trying to figure out how to do my show Zoom style with the bells and whistles. And once we figure that out, I think we're going to come back once a week, every Friday, and it'll play all weekend. And you can catch it on Fox Soul. But until this COVID stuff clears up, man, Later with Leon is still on Fox. It's still an entity of Fox. They still want me there, but it's just they're really limiting the people that they have in the studios. So, even like with radio, we're broadcasting from home. We're not, it's so it really hit the entertainment industry hard on all fronts. I mean, concerts, they can get that up till 2022. Easy. Yeah. 2022 probably be the next time you'll be able to sit in somebody's arena with it.
It's funny you mentioned that because Ticketmaster had a story recently that said that they're going to try to do something where they combine, you have to have your COVID negative test results when you purchase your ticket or something like that. So they're trying to figure out a way to innovate it, but we're not going to worry about
because
that.
Because they heard that money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bread, man. Woo. You think about it, people like Rihanna and stuff want to go on to. I know those stars are happy they get to rest and be with their families, but you think of the new stars that need that tour money. Dead. It's dead. Yeah. Not unless you do, unless you do like some of the movie theaters now, and they're putting their movies out on the streaming platforms, because movie theaters, man, it's like a dinosaur is about to go. And I think this COVID thing is going to change the way we do, like, forums like this, you know what I'm saying? Like we're doing right now, later with Leon on the Zoom. There's going to be a new way to consume content. And the people who think about it first and get on it right now, they're going to.
Well, that's what we're trying to do,
when
man.
This stuff clears back up.
We definitely going to try to live streaming shows with a limited audience. I think that's the way to do it. Yeah. I know you're a smart guy, so I know you're going to figure that whole thing out with your show and everything. We have studio space here if you need it. And you're always welcome.
Me and my wife got a OnlyFans page. It's called Mr. and Mrs. No Face, No Case. All you see is from the neck down. So you see two middle-aged bodies. Doing nasty things for anywhere from 2 to 2.5 minutes before we start hearing complaining or you hear a child in the background. We keep it 100. No covers neither. Like you might see some house shoes, a duster, a raggedy ass roll, but you're gonna get you some action. Good 2 minutes of action. We only asking $7.43 for our subscription a month. I know you like, Leon, why the $7.43? It just sounds good because nobody's going to give us a whole $10. So we take $7.43 and, we get some still shots. It's mostly my wife, but, when you see this pregnant belly step in, it still extends past the belly. Yeah, it is, Damon. I'm telling you, Damon, get your OnlyFans, Damon. You'll kill it, bro. You more in shape than I am. You older than me. If I get in shape, I'll get divorced because my OnlyFans gonna be popping, and I don't care who look at it. At this point in my life, I'm taking compliments from everybody. Twine want to tip $10, send them right back. Thank you, Twine. Appreciate it.
Man, I really appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for taking time out. People, you can find Leon Rogers on iHeartRadio 107.5 GCI. Look on Fox Soul for his talk show, the episodes that are available, and tell him anything else that you want him to know about how to find you and what you're doing.
Listen, man, at Leon Rogers, it's real easy. And I'll be remiss if I didn't do this. Me and my wife, well, it's really her, but I'm just supporting her 100%. She's launching. She's giving makeup classes. She's starting her makeup school, her makeup home school for ladies that want to learn how to put on makeup and make themselves look nice. Guys, if you want to get your girl something nice for a Christmas gift, you don't know what to get her. My wife is doing these classes at Nicole Rogers Beauty. Follow her on Instagram. And it's going to be dope. You don't want to miss it. And it's only 10 slots per class, so they fill up quick. So go check that out, man. You'll see it on my page, too, at Leon Rogers. I keep it simple. No D in my last name. I don't do the D. Unless Twine dropping a $20 tip on OnlyFans.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Leon Rogers, man. Thank you, brother, man. You know I love you, man. Be safe.
I love you, big bro.
Until the world open back up, we'll get together, man.
Yes, sir.
Signing out. Boom. Thanks, bro. That's it. That was dope. He froze. Oh, he must have signed out. Logged off. Yeah.
No.
Got it.
Yo, I be getting my mama with that shit. I be like, Mama, I'll call you later. Lee. I'm like, we're gonna be like iceberg, bro. All right, Damon.
And we'll break bread soon.